Today I'm going to be doing something different, and I will be doing a video event report. This is a genre video inspired by three channels, Team Small Robots, Team Cerberus, and Robert Cohen. So the event that I'm going to be talking about is Bot Blast 2018. For this event I brought Slim Pickens and Thunderchild. Now Slim Pickens has been rebuilt. This is my first actual legit build, so I redid Slim Pickens. It is a single piece UHMW frame, and it has a thicker titanium wedge for taking on spinners. For Thunderchild, there hasn't really been that many changes aside from new internals and some new attachments. So let's begin. So my first fight was with Thunderchild against Buffy. Buffy is a D2 kit, the dreaded D2 kits that everyone hates to fight, but I was pretty excited because I developed a new anti-D2 modification for Thunderchild. So what I did was I paid another builder, Alex Horn, to make me some extended snap hubs, so I would be running 2 snap wheels instead of just 1. The idea is that I would get more traction that way, because I figured the best way to beat a D2 kit is to use more traction. So let's see how I did.
On the right side, we have Buffy. Buffy, are you ready? Here we go. This should be a good driving match. Fight, robots, fight. Must release in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Are the robots going to pause the match? Yeah. This has been a good one so far. We will unstick the 2 robots. 15 seconds will be remaining in the battle. We will remain fighting in 3, 2, 1. Battle. Oh no, Thunderchild can't move, but there's less than 10 seconds to go, so this is going to go to the judges in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This match is over.
So it started to go well, but then, as you can see, I lost a wheel. The latex paint coating that I had on the wheels just straight up came off. You'll also see this happen to Slim Pickens. I guess it's just the surface of this particular arena. It worked better on other arenas, but not this one. So the wheel came off, and I'm guessing that's because I didn't tighten the set screw enough. And then you also saw towards the end of the fight, I just straight up died and was saved by the bell. When I took it back to the pit area, I did a lot of tests. I tried swapping to the old Vex speed controllers, but those burnt out. So at the end, what I did was I swapped to a new receiver, and that seemed to be the issue. So now Slim Pickens is up with its first fight. Let's see how that went. So Slim Pickens is fighting a bot called Bread. Bread is a 2-wheel drive vertical spinner, it uses a saw blade, so I wasn't too concerned about getting flung around the arena or taking lots of damage.
Slim, are you ready? Bots are ready. Wait for the green light. Go, robots, go! Box there by Slim Pickens. The saw blade thread is still spinning. We have 54 seconds left. Those boxes stuck together? Kind of. Brett wasn't hungry for bread, he was hungry for tires. 20 seconds left. Going to the adjustments in 4, 3, 2, 1. It's quite over. That was a great ending.
So I was pretty thrilled about how this match went. Slim Pickens was driving really nicely, deflecting the spinner blows. The only issue I did run into was that the latex paint was peeling off the wheels and it got stuck in the other guy's weapon. I was actually a bit concerned about that because I was worried that the match would get stopped and I might get in trouble, because I've seen at another event there was talk of actually banning these sorts of coatings because it can jam up the weapon, but it didn't actually stop it, so that was pretty good. Slim Pickens was up again after a bit of a break, so Slim Pickens went up against Taco Annihilator, a Saifu drum kit that I was supposed to fight at Motorama, but they had to forfeit because the bot just didn't work. So this I felt was going to be the ultimate test of the new Slim Pickens, to see how it does against drum spinners.
Wait for the light. Fight, robot, fight. See solution from Taco Annihilator. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The winner by knockout is...
So, Taco Annihilator just straight up didn't work. I spoke with the builder and he doesn't know what happened, and I don't remember if he ever figured out or if he fought again. So, Slim Pickens gets another win and moves on. So Thunderchild was up again, and I was pretty nervous going into this fight because it was, it could potentially be my last fight because it's the loser's bracket. So I was up against Shrapnel, a very, very scary horizontal spinner built by a professor at Pennsylvania College of Technology. I fought it a few years ago at the Sword Fights event, and its belt came loose, but the builder really made some great modifications to it, and now it hits really hard. So for Thunderchild, I went with the extended wheel guards that wrap around the side of the bot, and I just went in there ready to go.
This is going to be good. 3 minutes. 2 minutes, I'm sorry. Fight, robots, fight. 5, 4. Within 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And seconds left. Release the pin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. 30 seconds. It's over. This is going to the judges.
So, surprisingly, I won the fight. After I took it back to the pit, I found out that the wedge mounting brackets that hold the wedge on Thunderchild, one of them actually was torn off. So I was really nervous because in my next fight I was going to fight another horizontal spinner. So what I did was I found some extra ones that in my toolbox, so I just had to drill some new mounting holes, and then it's good to go. Thunderchild was up once again, and it was fighting Zero Traction, which is an overhead bar spinner similar to Ice Wave or Hazard. So when I took a look at it, I saw that its spinner was lined up right in the middle of the wedge, so I knew I wouldn't have to worry, because my biggest fear was that it was tall enough and actually had enough range to chop up my wheels. So going into it, I had the wedge ready to go, the extended wheel guards to go, and wanted to see what happened.
A little more loose square there. That's good. As long as you're in it. And starting from the red square, Thunderchild. Are you ready? Wait for the green light. Light goes outside. Your attraction for the tap out is Thunder. So, surprisingly, I got the win. What I think happened with my drive was the wheel guards were jammed up against the tires on one side and stopped them from moving. But unfortunately, the other guy just kept spinning for maybe 10 minutes straight. It was just spinning in the arena. And then when it finally started to die down, a member of the event staff came with a broom, pulled it towards the arena door, and stopped the weapon, and then it was turned off. Slim Pickens was up again, and it was against a wedge named Scud. Scud is based off of a Viper kit, which was heavily modified based on from the original platform. So I was I'm less nervous about going into this fight because it's a relatively new team, and
I could outdrive them. And the bot that it beat was a Fire Arrow, a very well-driven and well-designed wedge. So going into this, I just wanted to get underneath them and shove them around. I was considering using the forks, but at this point in the tournament, if I won this fight, I was guaranteed in the top 3. So I didn't want to risk getting stuck in between the arena seams like I did at sword fights. So I just loaded into the box and was ready to do some wedging.
Starting in the red square, we have Slim Pickens. Slim Pickens, everybody. 2 minutes. White robot fights. Release the pin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You gotta cleanly release. Please release it. One Pickens is gonna get right back. Pickens stuck in the wall. You gotta release him too. 1 minute to go. Judges. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fight's over.
So Slim Pickens is now in the winner's bracket final. So if I win that fight, I am guaranteed first or second. If I lose that fight, I'm still guaranteed top 3. So I'm feeling pretty good, especially with the new design. Thunderchild was next. It was up against DC, another one of the dreaded D2 kits. It was actually from the same team that Buffy was, because the team is father, mother, and their son, and all 3 of them have D2 kits. So for this one, I opted to go for my 4 wedgelets that I had made prior to the event. I didn't want to use the extended snap hubs because I was really nervous about them falling off. So I just loaded into the box and expected to have a really big war of like traction against another D2 kit.
And the red square is Thunderchild. Are you ready? Wet versus wet battle. Wait for the lights. Fight. 3, 2, 1. This match is going to the fifth.
So I beat another D2 kit, which I was feeling good about, and I was next up against Circuit Breaker with Thunderchild. Circuit Breaker is a very, very destructive horizontal spinner. However, the bot was redesigned, so now it can be either a horizontal spinner like Tombstone or a vertical drum spinner. So once again, I figured, like Silent Spring, it was going to be a war of who gets their attachments set up first. But to my advantage, it takes about 5 minutes for the builder Don to put the other attachment on. But he seemed pretty keen on going with the vertical spinner, so I opted to use the 2 Wolverine claws. And when I actually looked at Circuit Breaker's wedge, I could see that both of them could get underneath the sides of it where the wedge lifts off the ground. So I was feeling a bit confident, but I was still obviously nervous because Circuit Breaker is a very well designed bot.
Inside, Thunderchild ready. Bots are ready. 2 minutes.
So, obvious issue with the fight, even though I won, was that the Wolverine claws were bent upwards or downwards. That's never happened before, so I wasn't really sure how to fix it. At that point, I was more concerned about making sure it was ready for the next round. And for future events, I'll try and look and see if there's anything I can do. It might just be that it's just taken a lot of abuse, and that part of it has dulled so that it was able to move up further on the bot. So now Slim Pickens was up again, and this was the winner's bracket final. So the stakes were relatively high. I was up against Cherry Bomb. Cherry Bomb is another Sci-Fu drum driven by the same person who drove Buffy, so it was a bit of a grudge match. For this, I was really excited because I finally got to fight a fully working Sci-Fu kit. So, because I've seen it in its previous fights, and it's done pretty well so far at this event and at other events. So, for Slim Pickens, it was going to be an ultimate test of fighting a drum spinner. So let's see how it did.
And starting from the other square, colors down red. It's Slim Pickens. Winner of this fight goes on to the Antweight Championship match. Drivers, are you ready? Fight, robots, fight. Cherry Bomb seems to be stuck there in the corner. Can he escape? You see some movement from Cherry Bomb. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The winner by knockout is...
So, Slim Pickens managed to beat it. I don't know what exactly happened to Cherry Bomb. I don't think the builder ever found out, and it ended up getting third place. So, I was happy with how it did, but I was still worried about facing another drum spinner that had like metal wedgelets as opposed to just the stock UHMW ones on a Saifu kit. So far Slim Pickens has been doing really well in this event, and I was pretty happy. So Thunder Child was up again, and this time it was against GUARDIN GNOME. GUARDIN GNOME is a egg beater that uses the FingerTech Robotics egg beater kit, which, if you don't know, FingerTech Robotics released a kit for building an egg beater spinner. It includes, well, there are two separate ones. The one includes the egg beater mechanism, including the beater itself, screws for teeth, and the shaft and bearings, and I believe the belt, and then the other one has the electronics. So for this one, I continue to use the Wolverine claws because they've had a track record of being really good against drum spinners, so I was feeling pretty confident.
Thunder Child, they are 2 minutes. Wait for the light. Fight. Moving on is Thunder Child.
So that went pretty well. I don't remember exactly what happened to it. I believe it got high centered on some debris, but I was pretty satisfied that I had taken out another drum spinner. At this point in the event, I was, if I won this next fight, I would be in the top 3. So I was really hoping I'd be able to get Thunder Child and Slim Pickens to place at this event. So next up for Thunder Child was DISKO 3. DISKO 3 is a very well-made vertical spinner made by the brother of the builder that built Circuit Breaker. DISKO 3 is brushless drive. It has a pretty nasty vertical spinner. I actually fought it once last year at Bot Blast, and it beat me in a decision that a lot of people thought was pretty controversial. But the last time I was just using a wedge, but now I had the Wolverine claws, so I was feeling more confident, but I knew that the builder Joe is a very good driver, and DISKO 3 is, in my opinion, one of the best engineered bots that was at the event, so I was really itching to get some revenge.
Drivers, wait for the green light.
Yep. Did I do it?
Wait, robots.
Did I do it? Yep.
going to the judges.
So I finally got my revenge on Disco 3. Now, I still had the issue where the Wolverine claws were bending upwards, but I'm not exactly sure how to fix it. But at this point, I didn't really want to worry because I had to get ready for my next match, a rematch against Buffy.
2 minutes to decide the finalists. Over, let's go.
No.
Judges in 3, 2, 1. Match is over.
So this match unfortunately didn't go my way. I lost drive halfway through, and that was it. So Thunderchild gets 3rd place, which I'm pretty happy about. It took on some really nasty bots, and it's actually been almost 2 years since it's placed at an event. And I know I was worried in that space between where it wasn't really placing, like, oh man, I might have to retire it and build something new, like build like a D2 kit. Like, is this design obsolete or something? But I'm pretty happy with how it's gone. I cannot say that enough. So Thunderchild, 3rd place, and I just need to get it ready for the next event. So now Slim Pickens is up, and it's the Ant-White final. For this event, it's modified double elimination. That means that if the other guy beats me, event's over, that guy wins. As opposed to other events where if I lose, they have to beat me another time. So it was up against a drum spinner called CENOBITE, and I was really interested to see how it was going to perform, because CENOBITE was working pretty well throughout the entire event. No real issues that I remember, so I wanted to see how Slim Pickens was going to do against a really nice drum spinner like CENOBITE.
Pennsylvania Team Mutually Assured Destruction. It's Nate Franklin's bot, Slim Pickens.
Yay!
Get ready. 2 minutes to decide the Ant champion. Fight robots. Go!
Quiet.
It will get, hopefully
Too
it gets
quiet.
louder. It's quiet, too quiet.
It's usually louder.
If it's quiet, that means it's balanced. That's better.
Or that it's not. It's for my dad.
Or that it's not spinning, or that.
Maybe it's good for my dad. You like silent.
I like silent.
Yeah, you do. It's good for my dad.
Strategy going into play here.
Alright, it's too
Somebody got
quiet.
Slim Pickens upside down and turned down the drum. Or did he?
Who's gonna win? Slim Pickens. Oh, there it goes. Let it flip you over.
Who do you think is gonna win?
Cincinnati is just being very, very honest.
I kind of got a feeling for Slim.
Slim Pickens a flipper?
Still showing a
Yeah, Slim
good
Pickens is just a really good wedge.
I think that spinner is good.
I don't know, but I'm kind of rooting for Slim Pickens. Let me flip you over. 40 seconds to go. Yes. Whoop,
Ah.
back over. Whoa. I flip you over.
15 seconds.
Stoy. Stoy. Oh wait, that was 15 seconds?
5, 4, 3,
Alright, I think the spinner's
1.
gonna
This
win.
final's over. Going to it.
Unfortunately, Slim Pickens comes home with second place. CENOBITE was able to get some really good hits on the wedge and fling me over. And then I actually had trouble driving inverted, so I'll have to look into fixing that. But I'm pretty happy with second place for a completely new bot. So going forward for Slim Pickens, I'm probably going to use like lower profile tires, and I might make some more attachments. But so far, the new design is great. I cannot stress that enough. So this was a pretty successful tournament with Slim Pickens with second place and Thunderchild with third place. This is the first event in quite a while where both of my bots have placed at the same event. But during the award ceremony, I also there was also another surprise. For the 4th year running, I got the Best Driver Award, and that felt pretty good. Like the last 2 years, it was like no contest. This year it was a bit tough because the driver of Buffy got a lot of votes, but I'm pretty happy to know I just keep getting the Best Driver Award. So in the end, Bot Blast 2018 was a pretty successful event. Very happy with my bot's performance, and I'm looking forward to my next event. I'm not sure which one that's going to be. I have some ideas of which ones I want to go to, but at the end, just going to see what happens in the future.